I hope this is working. Hello, my name is Kenny Mammarella-D'Cruz. I am at the aeroporto in Portugal, and I'm flying back to Blighty, back to London. Now, I made a note. Let me find it. It's all been a bit hectic getting to the airport on time. And I'll tell you the best thing that just happened right now is we were overweight. That's why it's 1:08, and yeah, I'm feeling a bit late. Right, shut up. I can see myself on the computer. I'm not sure I'm doing this right. And that's why Wednesday at 1 was at 1:08. And I had a quickie interview before I got to the airport for a magazine talking about men in communication. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is, off the top of my head, 3 tips to do with traveling. Number 1, where did I... There's this brilliant quote, I think I know where it is actually, from a guy called Martin Lewis. Martin Lewis is the money-saving expert. And Martin Lewis is someone that we check out every time. My wife is very good at this. Every time. Anything to do with money or deals or things like that. Martin Lewis says that hiring a car has more catches than a corset. MartinLewis.com, the money-saving expert. Car hire. It's such a can of worms. I mean, we hired a really cool car. And whenever we hire a car, we give it a name because it's got a personality, and it's one of our best friends while we travel. And my grandfather's name, my brother's name is Caetano, because my family's from Goa, so, you know, Portuguese descendants and all that. So Caetano is their name, and the car just had this kind of safe, masculine energy. So what better than Caetano? So, and it was like cheap as chips, like 10 quid a day. But apparently the way they make loads and loads of cash is, once you're at the airport, they freak you out, telling you this, that, and the other. You need to pay this and pay that. And if you have an accident, then this might happen. And if that happens, then you'll have to... It's just a can of worms. So check out martinlewis.com with car hire. And more than that, check out your own insurance and phone them up and say, what is the worst that could happen? And do I need more car insurance? Because I'm sure they're going to ask me to do this and do that and buy. Do I need to buy anything extra, or is this it? So the first one is the corset. Remember the corset. Hiring a car has more catches than a corset. So check out, and I love insurance, not just car hire. Make sure your baggage insurance, your health insurance, your everything. I'll show you 2 of my insurance things. This is, maybe it's more emotional insurance than anything. So European health insurance card, as well as my European credit card. But my real insurance is this. This is the old-fashioned me. My grandmother gave this to me. Apart from that medal, this medal was given to me by Mother Teresa. I've talked about this before. So this is like spiritual insurance. Keep me safe, keep things well. So take care of all your insurance. Take care of all, you know, another little tip is bring one of those scale things, because we just found we were overweight, and I just packed up. We had a plastic bag. I just packed up half a bottle. It was a full bottle, but half of it evaporated on the way. It was for my parents. It was this almond liqueur, as well as olive oil and mustard and honey and all these things that we couldn't bring back because the bag was too heavy. And it was so much fun to put it in a plastic bag and give it to one of the local people for him to take home and enjoy. Okay, another couple of tips is, not everyone is your best friend. And it's so easy, you know, people can be hungry to be accepted by other people, whether it's the locals or gain approval from the waiting staff or whatever it is. So not everyone's your best friend. You know, this my friend thing. Wear faster to make money than from tourists. So be friendly, be nice, be intimate, have boundaries, meet at the boundaries, but don't be a pusher over and don't get suckered. Just hold your center and extend from your heart. On the other side of that is not everyone is your enemy. And I can get so embarrassed, especially after I leave London, and then I go out, even if it's in another part of the country. But I go to another part of the country, and suddenly I'm just noticing that I'm a nasty piece of work. It's almost like I'm up for a fight, or everyone's against me or something, and I get this bad London attitude. And it takes a little while for me to calm down and be nice again, and remember that not everyone's out to get me, and it's not all go, go, go and rush and, all of that nonsense. And then when I come back to London, it takes me a while. I used to think, why is everyone so nice? Why does no one like me? What's going on? It took me a little while to remember that I've just opened up. I've just opened up from a nice, calm, check up my Portuguese chicken, a nice, calm environment where people are open. They have a different relationship with time and panic. When I lived in Fiji, they called it Fiji time. Goans called it Goa time, etc., etc. And when I get back to London, it's like, no, it's not like they don't like me. It's not that there's something wrong with me. It's more like they're at a different level. There's a different harshness. There's a different rush. There's a different vibe. There's a different attitude. So it's like relate to the people. And not everyone is your best friend. And by no means is not everyone is everyone your enemy too. It's like be clear with yourself and meet at these intimate boundaries. So what other notes did I make about traveling? I mean, obviously there is the whole we went to all these nice restaurants and everything. I love being with the locals. So I found a nice community centre. And we sat near this really excellent Portuguese woman. And she had Alzheimer's, obviously, or there was something. Well, the staff in the end said, oh, don't worry about it. She's got Alzheimer's. I don't speak Portuguese yet. She doesn't speak English. But we had this amazing conversation. Well, at least in my mind, it was amazing. She seemed to be happy about love and about relationships and about... she kept saying that my wife looks like a princess and that she's beautiful. And all of this was in my imagination. Then she started doing like that, which kind of means looks beautiful, in sign language. And then speaking with the staff, what helped my imagination of what she was saying, and I guess my fantasy of what I wanted her to be saying, was so much of it was true. But communication isn't about words. Communication is about the other person understanding where I'm coming from. I mean, sometimes it's about the words and the details, and it's up to me that the other person understands what I'm saying. Not just that I say the words and I've done my duty, and they should understand. It's more that I use the language and take the time to know that they understand, and maybe to ask them what they think I said, so I know for sure, and I've taken responsibility for that communication. But communication from the heart. So now my inner DJs are playing Simon and Garfunkel, feeling groovy, and it's slow down, you move too fast. And my God, it took me a while to slow down because it's been a working holiday. So what more about, let me have a quick look. Flex your heart muscle. I don't know if you saw my latest newsletter. If you go to mensgroups.co.uk, pop up, sign up, or the manwhisperer.co.uk, pop up, sign up. And it was all about being a hero. And it was about the different types of hero, where the Shortlist magazine asked me to evaluate 9 tough guys. This is still working, let me check. Yes. Geordie LaForge from Star Trek, Davos from the Game of Thrones, Pete Townsend, The Crown, Mike, I can't even, Ekman from Breaking Bad, Cutting from The Wire, Mr. Carson from Downton Abbey, Lud from Girls, and Grandpa from Hey Arnold. And it was all about how are these blokes, tough guys. And the bottom, read the article. It's about flexing your heart muscle. And I was speaking with a magazine today about masculinity. Shortlist were kind enough to call me a masculinity expert. Masculinity for me is about authenticity. It's not about pretending to be some sort of a macho man, or being a bully, or being a loud adolescent who makes a lot of noise. It's about being true to who I am and being authentic. Being a mature male includes the feminine rather than proves the masculine, and then I can respond in the moment from my presence and connectedness to whatever's in front of me. Talking of which, tomorrow evening we are launching Men Father. And being a father, so much of that can be about being the protective and providing masculine, but so much of that can be about coochie coo, which is feminine, but it's the coochie coo with babies that develop the parts of the brain of, is it the frontal lobe, dear? My wife is just laughing at me because prefrontal cortex. What's the book you've been reading that you kept telling me about? Why Love Matters by? You don't remember now. Google it. Oh my God. I have, thankfully, Angela tells me all the best books of the books that she reads. And it was all about raising babies. Stephen Biddulph, who was initially famous for raising boys, and then he wrote Raising Girls, and then he wrote Raising Babies. It's so important and it's so interesting. So a good man is in touch with his feminine and can respond in the moment from masculine, from feminine, from passive, from aggressive, from whatever's true, and hopefully not just from rebellion or needing to prove something. Now, as I said in the newsletter, I've been running men's groups now for 16 years or something. A lot of the men who initially came were doing the, I feel a bit lost, or I need to find a girlfriend, or I need to get married, or my relationships aren't working, or this is up, or that's up. I mean, it was all relationship stuff. 16 years on, so many of them are fathers, or beginning, just starting with their sprogs. And tomorrow I am launching with Noel Janis Norton, who's a best-selling author and an expert on parenting, Men Father, at the Pirate Castle in the evening. So it's all about our issues as men, our issues as father, and dealing with at least knowing ourselves, so we're not passing our issues on to our children. And it's not just do as I do, do as I say, not as I do, but it's also the way that they say that children, as well as pets, pick up and express the unintegrated emotions and stuff of the parents. So know yourself and be yourself and not pass on your disconnected shadow selves onto the children. So there's Men Father tomorrow. Going back to the whole finding love thing, is we've got another Men Flirts. I think it's in October. Maybe we've got a taster coming up soon. And that's not about being a cheap act so you get laid, or so people like you or love you, or so you get your pickup artist numbers, some cheap act. It's about being the flirt. It's about, yes, I know myself, or at least I have a vague idea. How do I playfully share that? How can I flirt with life so life courts me and I can really, really share some love rather than a fearful act? So there's Men Father coming up. There's Men Flirt coming up. There's Men Facilitate, as it always does, on the first Saturday of the month for men and women who want to learn to communicate better with men and facilitate men's groups. And I want to end on 3 little things to do with hormones. I don't know that much about hormones, but what I do know is that men have hormones too. Testosterone. I remember what it was like to be owned by my yang, to have unruly urges, and to not really own my masculine energy and power, but for that to be owning me and thinking, where do I put it? What do I do with it? I need this, I need that, I need a woman, I need a fight, I need to prove, whatever it was. So there's testosterone that needs to be managed, that raw creative energy. That might be sexual, it might be creative, it might be... I thought I was going to get in trouble with that woman in the uniform then, because she looked like a policewoman. I'm not paranoid or anything, So there's testosterone, there's anger, there's sexual energy, and it all needs to be harnessed and wielded with love, unless there's danger. And that's where toxic masculinity is a healthy thing and is a useful thing. And then there are menstrual cycles. Now, we all know that women have, sounds a bit weird, women have menstrual cycles, and it's something that I don't think men will ever really understand. And also there are all the hormones with menopause and preparing the body during pregnancy and then childbirth and then feeding and everything else. It's like, what on earth do women go through? The crazy thing is men do wonder and try and fix and figure out what women go through, and sadly think, oh my God, this is crap, I don't know how to deal with this, what am I going to do? Meanwhile, the truth is, these things pass, same as everything, all things pass. Menstrual cycles pass, menstrual cycles pass, rage passes, fear passes, anger. It all needs to come up saying, let me pass, let me by, don't make a meal of me, don't make a personality out of me, let me by. And one of the things, this is the bit I need to end on, because then I need to check in and catch a flight back to the UK. Is the whole thing about abandonment. Men are sensitive souls, and one of the things that I have talked about so much with my private clients as well as in men's groups is about abandonment. When a woman withdraws, either consciously or unconsciously, emotionally withdraws, and the man goes, oh my God, what have I done? How do I fix this? This feels terrible. Or how do I make sure it doesn't happen? Or how do I treat her in a way so she can feel what I'm feeling, then she knows what I'm feeling, and then she'll stop making me feel this way? How messy is that? All these things pass. And making someone feel the way that you feel 9.99999 times out of 10, no one's going to get that you're making me feel that way, because that must be how you feel, and therefore I'm making you feel that way, and therefore I'll stop making you feel. It doesn't work that way. Communicate. And it might be the non-violent communication thing that I've harped on about so much that you can get the whole course on YouTube. When you blah, 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 I feel blah, blah, blah. I need, and then you own, you state, and you know and state and own your need. And then to the request, would you be willing to? So it's not enmeshed when you this, I that. It's you make me this. It's more describing that this situation causes me, I own that this is my reaction, this is my need, and this is my request. So it separates the two people, and it allows some understanding about what's going on and a choice for change. So non-violent communication, and the whole thing about feeling abandoned is like, sometimes it's not all about me. Sometimes the other person is going through something, or is digesting food, or is tired, or there's something on their minds, or it is the menstrual cycle. And during the menstrual cycle, that's when a woman might need, what's Elizabeth's book, The Red Tent? Genie. Something Genie? That's Australian woman with the whole red tent week. Elizabeth Pope? Alexandra Pope. Alexandra, check out Alexandra Pope. She is such an excellent woman. If you want to understand about menstrual cycles and the 4 inner seasons, and how to manage them and how to communicate them, and a woman's need for space, which is, the whole red. Check out Alexandra Pope. Anyway, I have been babbling. I'm not even sure if it's recording properly. I have been babbling for 20 minutes about my overweight suitcases, men's hormones, women's hormones, men's reactions to women's hormones, men claiming their own power and managing our hormones and impulses. Look at how daft I am. It's amazing, eh? I can't wait to come back to Portugal. I'm going to be running a men venture just under a week here in February. So a load of, we did Morocco before, and we're going to the forest again on the 23rd. So yeah, men love, I love to have adventures, and I love to share my adventures with the MenSpeak men. So if you want to come along, mensgroups.co.uk, themanwhisperer.co.uk, I'm going to get off Facebook and get on my plane. Do, 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 do.